Today we will be learning how to factor a quadratic. This is an example of a quadratic expression, ax squared plus bx plus c. A is the lead coefficient, b is another coefficient, c is a constant. Here is our first example. First thing you want to do is make sure that your example is in the proper form. As I can see, I have my x squared, my x, and my constant. My lead coefficient here is 1. My other coefficient is -5, and my constant is -14. The next step is to find the factors of my constant term such that when I add them or subtract them together, I will make -5. There are two factors for -14, 1 and 14, and 2 and 7. I'm trying to make a -14, so that means one of these two terms must also be negative. But before I decide on that, I need to focus on my second term because these two factors, one of these pairs, needs to make a -5. I clearly can see 1 and 14, I cannot make -5. So my only option is 2 and 7. 7 must be the negative choice because 2 minus 7 will give me a -5. So my next step is to write parentheses. The first term in each parentheses will always be an x, and the second terms in each parentheses will be the two factors that I've selected, 2 and 7. And remember, when I multiply these two, one of them needs to be negative to make -14, and when I add them together, I need to make a -5. So we already determined that our 7 needs to be negative and our 2 needs to be positive. 2 plus a -7 gives me -5, and 2 times a -7 gives me -14. It does not make a difference if I put my -7 here and my +2 here. To check, I will use the FOIL method, and if I did it correctly, I should get my original answer. So x times x is x squared. X times -7 gives me -7x. 2 times x gives me a +2x, and 2 times -7 gives me a -14. Combining my like terms, I get x squared minus 5x minus 14, which as you can see is my original quadratic. So my final answer is x plus 2 times x minus 7. This is how you factor a quadratic expression.